trotting around Colorado. Okay, thank you very much, and good afternoon. Welcome to the, July 27th. Holy mackerel. I thought it was like June 2nd or something. It's July 27th, meeting of the Basalt Town Council. Welcome, everyone. We've got sort of an abbreviated schedule tonight, but got some meaningful things to get accomplished. And bienvenido para nuestros amigos que prefieren español. We're not going to speak Spanish the whole night. I just thought we would offer that welcome. First order of business for tonight is to call the meeting to order, which we've done, and call the roll. Pam?
Okay, let's begin with Glenn Drummond,
Here.
David Knight,
Here.
Elise Huddle,
Present.
Ryan Slack,
Here.
Bill Kane,
Yes, here.
Gary Tenenbaum,
Here.
and Bill Infante.
Here.
Great.
A-team is present, sir.
Thank you very much. Next order of business is a consent agenda. So there are two items on the consent agenda. One is the minutes of July 13th meeting, 2021, and resolution number 33, series of 2021, which is a resolution of the Town Council of Basalt, Colorado, supporting the 2021-2022 update to the Colorado Communities for Climate Action, CC4CA, policy statement. So those two are on our consent agenda, and I would welcome a motion to either approve the consent agenda or a motion to take an item off if you want further discussion. So that's where we are.
Mayor, I move the town council approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Is there a second? Okay, moved and seconded. We can approve this with a voice vote. So all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
For a second, who seconded that? I'm sorry.
David or Glenn.
Thank you.
So at this portion of our meeting, this is a call for public comment, and we are running a hybrid meeting, so we are all here physically present, but we will also welcome comments from electronic digital participation. So I think we have at least one individual signed up that wanted to address council. Susan, do you want to?
Yes, just before we have people that are in the room to speak, I just want to make a public announcement that if you would like to make a comment remotely, the best way to access the meeting is the first page of the agenda on the town's agenda center, and you can hit the link to join the Zoom meeting, or you can dial 1-346-248-7799, and then when prompted, the webinar ID number is 953-5977-5800. And if you have problems, you can text 970-379-1514. And I don't believe that anyone that's on our participant list wants to speak during this item, but I am aware of one person in the audience that would like to speak.
Okay. So as this is your time, anyone like to address council, please come on, step up and address the council. We request humbly that you keep your comments to 3 minutes and do your best to be civil and, polite.
I will be quick.
Okay, thanks.
My name is Neil Glazer. I live on 550 Sopris Drive. My concern is the development of the old Clark's Market. I wanted to just address that as I think it's a little large for the size of the town. I'm concerned about the size of the development. I'm also concerned that there's only 15% of the units that are deed restricted to really make it affordable for people who work in the valley. And I think that is also an issue that, if we're going to have a development, it should be a little bit more friendly to people who are working in the valley and, could have some affordable housing. So size, affordability.
We appreciate your comments. As you may know, it's still going through the process with our Planning and Zoning Commission, so it hasn't come to Town Council yet. So, you'll have another bite
And
of
our
this
next
apple.
hearing is on Tuesday, next Tuesday here, and the agenda will be posted on the website.
Thanks for your comments, though. Appreciate you coming. Anyone else that wants to call in? Anyone else in the audience like to address council? Okay, is that, oh, sure, come on up.
I just wanted to reiterate what he said for y'all going into that a lot of, I feel like the residents, I also live on East Cypress, we're just nervous about the size and scope, hoping that y'all will keep in mind to try to keep the character of this town and keep it tasteful and beautiful and keeping in common with what we have now.
And could
Thank
you
you.
state-
I'm Virginia Leffler.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any more public comment? Okay, hearing none, appreciate those comments. So our next order of business is comments from the mayor or council reports or comments. So any comments from council or reports that we should hear? Glenn?
I just wanted to give everybody an update on the Eagle County Vista project. Had our first in-person meeting yesterday. You'll start to see these little red boxes probably pop up at different events throughout town, maybe some businesses. They'll also be accompanied by a comment card, simple survey. The underlying goal that they're trying to achieve is as much input from the entire Eagle County as possible. They've also got social media. You got Facebook at Vista Eagle Facebook at Vista Eagle Co. They got the same hashtag or whatever it is on Twitter, as well as TikTok. And then the website is also vistaeagleco.com. It's a chance to put in your input. It's kind of loosely structured. They're trying to establish and solve whatever problems that arise throughout the survey. There's also a QR code that you can scan on there and fill out the survey online. But their goal is to get 1,000 responses by the end of August. I would think with a county of 55,000 people that should be pretty easy. But
achievable,
yeah.
yeah.
I would encourage everybody to hop on there and fill it out or do the Dropbox, whatever it may be.
Great. Thank you, Glenn, for that.
Are they aware that these questions kind of duplicate some of the outreach that we did for the Basalt Master Plan, so they could take a look at that as well for additional feedback?
I mentioned the way we did our master plan, and what they want to do is try to get people to form how the master plan will be shaped instead of coming up with 10 different bullet points. I think at the end of the day, you're probably going to see the same 10, but just.
No, I mean, but specific to these 3 questions.
There's those
Literally,
3.
like, these 3 questions were asked.
That I don't know that they know about.
Yeah, so they might want to cross-check,
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it to them that we just updated ours, but their big thing is get as many people as involved as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other comments, reports from council? I have a very brief one. The chief and I were able to participate in what I thought was a very enlightening sort of process. So our fire district is hiring for a new assistant chief, which is really an important post, not only for now, but long-term future. And so it was we were the volunteers from the town of Basalt. I thought it went extremely well. I think a great candidate's going to emerge from it. And so I really enjoyed participating on behalf of the town. I thought it was great. Secondly, last time I talked to you a lot about connector and circulator possible service for Basalt, teaming with RAFTA. We have an initial kind of outline proposal from Downtowner, which would be a private proposal to assist both connector and high-hour service between Basalt and Willits. So we'll be refining that, talking to them, and then bringing it forward. It's a little bit not quite ready for prime time, but it's in the works. So stay tuned on that one. They would be my comments. So at that point, we will. Our town manager has been battling the mighty heights of the Colorado Trail for the last. We weren't even sure we were going to see him for another week. So I don't think we have a manager report unless you want to say something.
One update for you all. That Chief Knott had forwarded an email to me this afternoon that he just received, but it looks like Pitkin County come Friday morning is rescinding all of their current fire restrictions. So there will not be any fire restrictions in Pitkin. We don't have any information on Eagle at this point.
Well, thank you for that info. All right. With that, then, I think we will then turn to council actions. The first order of business is item 5A. This is resolution number 34, series of 2021. It's a resolution of the Town Council of Basalt, Colorado, approving change orders with FCI constructors for the Two Rivers Road Improvement Project. So, involves an unforeseen water line issue. So, look, Stephanie, welcome. James, Catherine.
Got everybody.
Yeah. Got the brain trust up here at the table.
Yeah, we do have for this item, we've got Stephanie Hoffenbein from Sopris Engineering, and we've got town engineer Catherine Christoph, and we also have Will Kaiser from FCI who's on the Zoom call. This item is consideration of a resolution that would approve of change orders to the Two Rivers Road improvements, contract to permit construction of a water line in Two Rivers Road. As background, council approved resolution number 17, series of 2021, that authorized the town manager to approve a contract for Two Rivers Road improvements, and that was back in May. And these improvements are in conjunction with the Basalt River Park construction, as well as the Basalt River Park development application. The improvements include reconfiguration of the parking on Two Rivers Road, as well as curb and gutter, chicanes, and crosswalks that would be added to Two Rivers Road that are similar to those that you have down by RMI and the River Center. And so staff received a bid from FCI back in May that was subject to the May resolution that was for $1,064,049, and it included a total project cost of about $1.3 million. The bid was based on improvement drawings completed by Sopris Engineering, and Sopris Engineering, in preparing those base drawings for the bid, used standard utility locating procedures in preparing their drawings for the bid. After approving the contract and before starting construction on the project, the town and Sopris Engineering ordered potholing as an extra kind of due diligence step. And it was found that the potholing indicated that the water main on the south side of Two Rivers Road wasn't where it was located with the utility locates, and instead is under a bank of utilities, as well as under where the curb and gutter and storm sewer would be constructed with the improvements that were in the original bid. So the engineers, Sopris Engineering and SGM, as well as Catherine, got together to look at solutions, and they ultimately recommended constructing a new water line in Two Rivers Road, as the current water line that's problematic is more than 20 years old and beyond half its life expectancy. And so staff believes that it would serve the town well to construct the new water line, in that it would save future costs of having to rip up new infrastructure in the future. The cost of the water line is in the spreadsheet that's in your packet. It's $141,000, and then there are proposed to be soft costs and contingency added on to that for a total of $183,000. So as I indicated, staff thinks it's good that we caught this through the extra due diligence and the potholing now before we got into construction, because it would have been an emergency if we started construction and probably would have cost quite a bit more. Do you guys have anything to add in terms of why recommending this option?
Not so much in the why, other than at the end of the day, the town will have a better water line product with the line in the road rather than under all this brand new infrastructure that will be along Two Rivers Road. Again, James spoke to the age of of the water line, and should it break in its current location when we've just spent a lot of money on this new curb and gutter, new sidewalks, and other expensive infrastructure. Now at this point, one, we'll have a new line which theoretically won't have brakes, but also if it were to break, we'll just be getting into the asphalt and the road rather than these other expensive, expensive infrastructure that we just paid for. And I'll say that we also worked with a contractor around trying to get the cost down as much as possible. The two businesses that are fed by this water line are RMI and the River Center, and in order to get this new line on board, they will have to experience some time without water. And at first we thought we might need to do a temporary line, but through working with the contractor and Stephanie, I think we'll be able to, if you all are to approve this change order, we'll be able to potentially just have a 4-day shut off over the weekend, and we've been working with both their businesses on that, and through that we've been able to save the project about $40,000 just in that effort. So we've been working with the contractor and the engineers on you know, getting a good price on the work that needs to be done.
So James, also, is this price mitigated by some work on broadband, on fiber, in that line? So
Yeah.
some of this cost.
Yeah, the background is that we had a figure that was programmed into the original bid for fiber, and we've got about a couple, what is it? Right here. I can't read that, though. There's a little bit of savings from that program number, because we got cost estimates on the fiber piece that were lower than what was in the bid amount originally.
Questions of council? Elise? David? Thanks. So Elise for David.
Help me flag it down.
I got it.
No, it's a couple of quick questions. When might we expect to see like a supplemental budget and a potential funding source identified? And then you could talk to us a little bit about what we might do in the future to mitigate, you know, the risk of cost overruns, you know, because it's ending up being significant, but it totally makes sense, the logic and the approach as well. Thanks.
Sure, I could speak to that a little bit. And as far as the budget goes, we intend to bring that back to council at the next meeting, August 10th, a supplemental there. And we're looking at a few different sources for that. So one, we've got our water fund as a potential. Secondly, some federal funding that we are in receipt of. And then thirdly, the general fund. So we just need to look at the uses. We are inquiring with the state as to the use of those federal funds and whether or not it would be allowed at this time. And then to address your question about, you know, how do you avoid this in the future? You know, I think you know, just doing some of that potholing up front is on projects where we know that there's infrastructure involved. That might be, you know, just a pretty simple way to do it. It adds cost to the project, certainly, but, you know, if you save yourself some of those, you know, budget issues on the back end, it's better to know, you know, up front, I would argue. So, you know, I think we can do that. The other thing too is we will get as-built on projects that will typically be, you know, tied to, you know, sort of where something is geographically sort of in a better way than just doing the locates, which, you know, have proven to be inaccurate. So, so I think putting those things into play would certainly help us.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Additional comments, questions from council? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 34, a series of 2021?
Mayor, I move that the town council approve resolution number 34, series of 2021 as presented.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. This is eligible for a voice vote as well. So I will ask for those that are all in favor for resolution number 34, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, thank you very much.
Thank you, council, appreciate it.
Let's get good at potholing in the future, so we'll see this one again. So our next item is 6B, first reading ordinance number 11, series of 2021. This is an ordinance of the Town Council, Town of Basalt, Colorado, repealing and replacing Chapter 8, Article 1 of the Municipal Code to adopt the 2020 Model Traffic Code with amendments. Greg and Jeff are working on this, so welcome, Chief.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me tonight. So before you tonight is an ordinance to repeal and replace Article 8, or Chapter 8, Article 1, Sections 1 and 2 of the Basalt Municipal Code. Periodically, the state of Colorado amends the Model Traffic Code. The last amendment was in 2010, which we adopted and we've been working under. So the next revision is the 2020 Model Traffic Code. With that, they go through and look at improvements that can be made to it. One of the improvements in the new Model Traffic Code is parking in electrical vehicle stations. So we didn't have that before. So that's an example of what the revisions they make going into the 2020. With the adoption or the requested adoption of the 2020 Model Traffic Code, the town is asking that we add a few charges to our Model Traffic Code that we are not currently able to charge. We would have to send these charges to county court. So the first one is permitting an unauthorized person to drive driving with expired license plates or improper title or registration, driving without a current driver's license, and open alcoholic beverages in containers and vehicles. We are also asking that we codify is the word? The current practice of the Basalt Municipal Court that if a person pays a 4-point ticket within 20 days, the points get reduced to 0 points. They don't get reported to the state of Colorado. The exceptions of that is if it's careless driving, the automatic point reduction doesn't occur, or if it's a 6-point violation, it gets reduced to 2 points if they pay within 20 days. That reduces a lot of the visitors to the municipal court, and it's been a very good practice, I think. I believe Jeff would agree, and also the municipal judge. So tonight, the ordinance before you is to adopt the 2020 Model Traffic Code and to add the 5 sections to the code that we're requesting.
Excellent, good news. Questions for Chief Knott or Jeff? Do you have some comments? Yeah.
No worries. Mr. Mayor, I just had 2 quick comments. One is that based on the noticing for adoption of model codes in state statute, the second reading of this ordinance will be our second meeting in August. So the correct date is on the form of the motion in the packet, but we have to do a special noticing procedure, so it'll be that meeting. And then also we'll be bringing back to council an updated fines and fees schedule based on some of these changes. So those 2 things will sync up at that August meeting.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Questions for our chief or town attorney regarding the model ordinance? So this will require a motion, so appreciate a motion to approve ordinance number 11, series of 2021 on first reading. Not a public hearing.
It's correct, and if they could read the motion that's here, that would be great, because part of the official thing is setting the public hearing.
Mayor, I move the town council approve ordinance number 11, series of 2021 on first reading and set the public hearing and second reading for August 24th, 2021.
Is there a second? Okay, seconded by Elise. So moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Hey, and
Mayor.
congratulations. I don't know if we had a formal ceremony acknowledging for your statewide.
Tell anyone.
This guy is a real leader in the state, so he's heads up the chiefs of police. Would you describe it a little bit?
So for the next year, I hold the presidency for the Colorado Association of Chiefs of Police. So the president's role is to oversee the association and kind of lead it for the next year. Been working towards it for 5 years. So you start as regional reps and you move into second, first vice president. Now this is my year to do the presidency of the association.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
So it's like Denver, Colorado Springs, Fort Collins, Basalt. It's
in that order.
Pretty cool.
Thank you all.
So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, our next order of business, JD's not here, so I wonder if we could move to hold back 6A until John Black appears, and,
Actually, 6B maybe too, because Liz Bell was coming for BPAC, so let's, if we could do Basalt Forward first.
okay, is that okay with you guys?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll go to item 6C, the update on the Basalt Forward 2030. Christie. and-
So since I'm here,
Yes. I didn't mean to slight you there, Mr. Manager.
no, that's
Just
okay.
didn't know.
We've chatted about it. I'll take this. And it sounds like we maybe have a little bit of time here, but just wanted to update the council on some important dates coming up. We're definitely getting closer to decision time as it relates to Basalt Forward 2030. And so I'll go through these a little painstakingly, but I want to make sure for those that are watching that they are aware of these dates. So on August 2nd, which is coming up next week, we have our Capital Needs Committee scheduled to talk about their final recommendation to council on which projects they would recommend. And so they will be working on preparing that. August 4th, which is next Wednesday, I believe it is, right? From 5 to 7 at the Basalt Library, we'll be having a community open house. And basically that'll provide another opportunity for the public to come and learn more about the projects, learn more about Basalt Forward, and we'll also have an opportunity for them to vote on their top 3 projects. We've got some chips, 3 chips that we will hand out to each participant. We are inviting the council to come along if you are able, and to entice folks, we have free pizza and beverages, so you will be fed. And then the basic.
What time is it?
5 to 7. And the format is a drop-in type of format. So you don't necessarily need to be there from beginning to end. We're going to have several easels set up around the room where you can learn a bit more on some of the background. So why we're here, talking about the master plan, talking about the facility needs study, and then we'll get a little more specific about projects that are contemplated as part of this effort, and some more details on those, including costs. So we're definitely getting closer to having the information that council would need to make a decision on this as well. And then on August 10th, the Capital Needs Committee will present their final recommendations to council. So that's at our next council meeting. And then we have asked council to consider a special work session on August 16th, just to give you a little bit more opportunity to talk amongst yourselves on the merits of the projects, those recommendations from the Capital Needs Committee. And then the rubber meets the road on August 23rd, which is our, actually, is it the 23rd? That was a typo.
Sorry,
It was
it's a typo.
the 24th. Where council would need to pass a resolution if they decide to move forward with putting a question on the ballot in November. And then by September 3rd, that's the last day to certify the ballot content to the county. So coming right up, and it's going to be pretty busy for the next few weeks trying to get to that point. So.
So, any comments questions from council about open house or any other matters? So, Christie, is that it?
That's it, yes,
That's
sir.
it, okay, that's the extent of it. So, do we have the BPAC team?
Well, we're missing the main presenter, but I think we can go ahead and kind of introduce it and
She'll join.
just for timing purposes. Otherwise, we'd need to take a break, I think, since we're missing John and Liz Bell.
What,
Can I ask a quick
And
question
that-
about
yeah.
the open house, since we're kind of buying time anyway?
Sure.
yeah,
Well, 2 questions. One is a statement and one is a question. The statement is, we recognize that National Night Out is the night before, and we are still asking you to attend, so please do so. This is really important. We want to hear your feedback. And then question is, will there be any kind of Spanish interpretation available?
We did not have that contemplated at this meeting, no.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're gonna do the.
that's true.
John Black's here, so we can do.
Oh, okay.
You guys can stay there. John can,
You know,
John can
that was,
come off
that was,
the-
that was really,
Okay.
that was really excellent, you guys. Well, we're juggling items, so our honoree has just entered the room here, so we'll go back to item 6A. This is a proclamation honoring J.D. Black for work on the art base building. So, you know, John is an extraordinarily accomplished general contractor in the Valley and served as board president for Art Base. I can't say a lot about his golf game, but he's
Come on,
he's a
6.5.
whale of a competent contractor, and he contributed services to, as a general contractor, to complete all the interior renovations and the move for Art Base. So, JD, we have Bill Infante has a proclamation to present tonight, and he's going to read it. So, don't blush, don't get all geeked out on us here. It's all.
John, I was kind of having the same thought. Both you and I have the same problem of not being able to conceal when we're blushing. That's right. So this is intended to salute you for all of your hard, great, and much appreciated work. So this is a proclamation honoring dedication, vision, and commitment in the town of Basalt. Whereas, however effective government may be in serving the needs of its citizens, the soul of a town and its vitality as a place to live and work depend upon the relationship of families, friends, and neighbors. And whereas strengthening those bonds is not as much in the hands of institutions or governments as it is in the hearts of the people, individuals who work toward the common good of the community and are part of the special character of the town. And whereas these individuals are often the unrecognized, unsung heroes of the community, and whereas John Black is committed to enriching the community of Basalt, and to that end has served on the Art Base Board of Directors for 7 years and worked tirelessly on the dream of a permanent home for the Art Base, a place to continue their mission to foster creative expression in the visual arts for all ages and abilities, through education opportunities, exhibitions, and events. And whereas John Black donated his professional expertise to successfully manage the remodel of the Three Bears building, creating a permanent home for the Art Base, coming in ahead of schedule and under budget. And whereas the Art Base directors, staff, members, and community express their deep gratitude for the generous contributions and tireless dedication of John Black. The members of the Basalt Town Council hereby proclaim that on this 27th day of July, 2021, the town of Basalt and further reaching community is a far, far better place through the vision and deeds of John J.D. Black.
Speech.
Thank you so much for the acknowledgement. I think prior to this, my claim to fame was bringing varsity baseball back to the high school. You know, I think the Art Base is going to be an incredible positive facility, having its new home. Have to thank the board and particularly Sky Skinner, who, you know, I had a bright idea, but it took Sky to really pull it off and make it a reality. So, you know, our most recent show was very interesting because the artist had had a skiing accident,
been paralyzed. And this show was her first big show, and she sold most of the pieces, and it really is launching her to a career in art. And it's kind of, you know, we have so many different things we're trying to do in the community for artists, for children, for adult education, and continued support by the town council is much appreciated and needed. And I urge you all to come to our openings. It's a pretty amazing scene when you go there. And all the things that we're trying to have happen in Old Town Basalt are happening there now. So thank you again for the
Step up here, sir.
acknowledgement and honor.
Step up and.
And it was my little contribution to the town of Basalt.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you all for that. Now, so we will now turn, I think, do we have everybody for BPAC? Or-
Yes, we just
Okay.
have to move a couple people up here to our desk here. We have a couple more members of
While you rearrange, can I just say thank you for acknowledging citizens who, like John? It means a lot. Makes this community rich. So thank you for doing that. Really appreciate it.
Welcome, everybody.
So we're gonna get up close and personal here.
Good.
Let's see, Watkins, I can sneak you in on the end here. And then, you guys, just, keep in mind that the mics are really sensitive, so when you speak, if you could grab one of those and make sure it's about, 5 inches from your mouth when you talk, that would be great.
So is it true you guys did paint all the murals that are in town? Is that?
They did it themselves.
So you've got the floor, so.
So
Go ahead,
we're here
Watkins.
tonight with the Basalt Public Arts Commission. My name is Watkins. I'm just going to say a couple words before I turn it over to them. The Public Arts Commission was established in 2015, and they play an advisory role to you all, Town Council. They act as a sounding board on matters of arts and aesthetics and public art in the town, and they make recommendations to you all. They're members themselves of the arts community, and they have a variety of experiences among them. So BPAC is made up of, we have Liz Bell, we have Jeanette Bullock, we have Karen Andrade, Abby Gerke, and Summers Moore, and then we also have Anna Lohr, who wasn't able to make it tonight. But so together they are Public Arts Commission, and so tonight we're going to give you all a brief update on what we've been up to and talk in kind of general terms about what we want to do next year in 2022.
Great.
So, Liz, do you have anything you'd like to?
Start off with?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. First off, thank you for the opportunity, I think on behalf of all of us, to work with the town and bring some creativity and art to town. As with anything else, this past year was particularly challenging and interesting, and as a group, I think we tried to help bring art and hopefully some surprise and delight to our community. And also, we tried to keep an eye to what we might do that might be economically beneficial as well as sort of spiritually. So the first thing that I'm talking about is in January or February when it was a little cooler than it is today and a little warmer than it should have been for this project. We had 4 ice sculptures installed around town. There was a beautiful collaboration with the library, and they had a whole bunch of interesting collaborative projects, and unfortunately the sculptures didn't last as long as we had hoped, but the people who saw them seemed to enjoy them. And for me, part of the art of that is actually watching those be constructed. That is, it's kind of performance art, which this is a project that we are hoping to do again this coming year, and hopefully if we can all be together, layer on some additional opportunity to connect and maybe have some performance, not only of the chainsaws and the ice, but something associated with that. So that's our idea for a slightly increased budget that we're proposing for the ice sculptures for next year.
Great. Hi, I'm Abby, and I'm also a member of BPAC, and I work for the Art Base as well. So that was really cool to see JD's award. And we're asking for $25,000 toward our grant program, and that's a little bit less than years past. I think in years past we've asked for between 40 and 60 grand, but we, as Liz had mentioned too, we're seeking to focus on other projects as well as the grants program. And just to give a little history, in the past, our grants that we have awarded have supported projects by individual artists, and but historically, when we look at the pattern of the grants and the people who are applying, it's the arts organizations within the Basalt community. So TACA, the Art Base, and the Hudson Reed Ensemble. And we've found that granting those organizations this funding has really helped to provide other opportunities for the community as far as public arts goes. And so TACA has done, what's it called?
Pumpkin Jazz.
Pumpkin Jazz. I was going to call it Oktoberfest. Pumpkin Jazz for 2 years. The Art Base has used the funding for Art in the Park that will happen again this year. And we've also used it toward our free public arts programs for kids and adults. And the Hudson Reed Ensemble, who's recently moved and relocated to Basalt, is using it for their programming. So we feel strongly about supporting these organizations with this funding, as well as taking applications from other individual artists too.
Karen, you want to talk about murals?
Sure. Hi, I'm Karen Andrade, as hopefully most of you have seen, we recently completed a project of 7 murals around Basalt. Most of them are on the east side of Basalt, and went through a whole process where we had different artists apply and decided on artists, and then figured out where they were going to be and move forward. And so it's been a great Basalt public art project. So with that said, and with the success of that, we're looking to do some larger scale murals, perhaps one in West Basalt on the Willett side and one here in town. And we're looking at sometime in the next year, closer to, obviously these need to be done in the warmer weather, so probably by next summer, early next summer is our idea. And so that's part of our budget. We're looking for $20,000 for that part of it. And the other thing that would be different, some of the murals that you see now are not permanent, and we're looking to do possibly a more permanent installation of murals. Is that it? Thanks.
So not too much more to add, but just about our social media and social outreach. A big part of the reason we got more involved with that, and we're trying to add some videos of the artwork, was just to get people motivated to go out and engage with it and look for it and hopefully take pictures of it to get more people interested in it. And it's a really good way to hear feedback from the community of what they're looking for and things they're interested in. And I also think it's a great way to keep like the younger generations that are really social media heavy interested in the arts. But that's something we've just been working on to keep community engagement up.
So thank you guys very much for your time. We're happy to talk about any more of this in detail if you'd like, or take any questions from me if you have any for us.
Any questions, comments for our team? How about the big retaining wall behind our Thai restaurant? Is that on the schedule for
It potentially for a big 2022 project. If you notice that most of the projects are actually on town property.
Right.
And so, there's just additional logistics that happen when you do it on private property. We're trying to get the murals up quickly, and There's just legal issues of what is art and what is a sign, and we just knew we needed to spend more time on that issue. But yes, that has been identified as a kind of a key location, but.
So that's still in the works. Huh?
That's still in the works. And maybe to add one other thing, in the 2022 budget, we actually had added more funding than in prior years. We were proposing this $280,000, and $200,000 of that was really for larger pieces, sculptures. One for the Basalt River Park over here. There was a place on the River Park plan for an art piece, and then another in Willitstown Center. And we haven't been too merry that it's just a one piece each. It might be something else. And it's possible that we don't even finish it in 2022, but it's more of a capital project and something that is a more signature long a piece that's going to last a longer time, so it might take a while to kind of work it out, but we wanted to make sure that we bookended the funding for it.
Great. Nice. So it'll be a big fresco, huh, on that wall.
Yeah.
That would be
Could be.
pretty cool. So, any further comments, questions from council? Thank you guys for all you do. Elise?
I remember there was some talk about doing an arts master plan. Whatever happened with that?
Yeah, we have done a good bit of work with that this year. The work that we've completed so far, we had some consultants help us and do a lot of research and compiling of other arts and culture master plans that other communities in Colorado, in the West, and actually around the country have done. And that's actually where we got one of the ideas that we didn't mention here just for time, but the idea of an artist roster is something that came out of that. And so we're kind of building on the work that kind of background research, I guess you could call it, and we hope to continue this in 2022.
Great.
And have you thought about a more like Carbondale style rotating art approach? I'm just curious, pros and cons on that.
We have, yeah, we've thought about that. What Carbondale has, they're mostly in the public right of way, I believe, and the town donated the kind of pedestals that they sit on. So one of the first challenges really is identifying the sites that it could go on, and there's always challenges when it's in the public right of way. It's a possibility, and if that's something that's especially of interest to council, we're happy to know that, and we can talk about that more.
So perhaps if the Midland Streetscape is a project that rises to the top, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So I sit on that committee as well.
Liz, Mike, yeah.
And, on behalf of BPAC, that is something that I'm hopeful that whatever the project is, that we can maybe think about the arts as some element, if any of that goes forward. So it is definitely something I think I've brought up once or twice, Ryan.
I've heard it.
In those meetings. So, yeah, we're thinking about that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. All good?
I'm good.
Thank you guys. We really appreciate all you do. It's
Thank you.
fun stuff. So, I think that brings us to a conclusion for tonight's activities.
You can do adjourn.
Gary, would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
Your power.
I don't know. I mean, this is like the land speed record. This is the shortest town council meeting. I guess we shouldn't be bashful. We have enough long ones, so. This is good.
Dinner date.
I do. How did you know? So, okay, I will invoke the sort of divine right of kings and call the meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Here we go.
Yeah.